Hi everybody, I'm Stanley. I work for an international organization called In Defense of Animals, and I have the honor of operating our sanctuary in Mississippi. It's about an hour and a half from Jackson, Mississippi, north of Jackson, right off Interstate 55, and about 2 hours from Memphis. The reason why we're located in that area, and we started this sanctuary, was that I went to Mississippi on an assignment, which instead of taking 2 weeks, wound up taking about 6 months. And while I was there, other organizations, if you've heard any of our other talks in Mississippi, there are very few shelters. You can go from county to county. There may be one person in the county that's known for trying to help some dogs or cats, but there are no facilities, there's no funding for animal control, and of course there are thousands of animals that are either abandoned after hunting season, or get lost during hunting season, or breed in the wild. Most of Mississippi is of course rural, so people are not even around to see the breeding. People from communities will go to an exit where it's scarcely populated so that they can lead animals off on the road and not be seen. So, it was quite troubling for me coming from the Bay Area and seeing that there were so many fellow beings that were in absolute dire need of help. I basically called Dr. Katz and I said, I can't come back. Is there any way we can do something here? Initially, I just helped with cruelty investigations, and I worked with the humane shelters in Mississippi that had good policies, good programs, and a great deal of respect. But what was crushing my heart is that we would go on a case and there would be animals that were so severely injured or neglected that in terms of an animal shelter, they were beyond recovery. Because these facilities did not have the funding to hold those animals and care for those animals, simply because of the numbers of healthy animals coming in and their lack of resources. So initially, my backyard became our sanctuary. I had about 3 acres. At first, I had some pigs. I had Miss Natalie Wood that I adored. We had some horses, and I got up to 33 dogs. Well, when you get up to 33 dogs, management becomes a real issue. So, fortunately, the man who owned the property next to us and hunted the property sold that property to us. And now we have 65 acres, including mine. And it's kind of very nice because we're like a block from the interstate. We're 11 miles from a fairly large city. Mississippi-wise, it's a large city. So we're able to get supplies. We're able to make contact. So our location is pretty good. Anybody who's really looking for a plan on starting a sanctuary, Best Friends has an online plan for you. But I would like to tell you that, first of all, what is the reason that you want to start a sanctuary? Do you love animals? Well, maybe you could help something that already exists. There are none of us that do not need help. And in our community, volunteers, people come and they want to look at the cats, and they want to look at the dogs, and they want to look at the pigs and the horses and the emus. But we have a unique situation in that there is a concern for public safety. First of all, when you keep dogs in large groups, now when I say large groups, they range from 2 to 10 at the most. And 10 is when we're crowded. We are experts at watching personality traits. When a dog starts staying to the back of an enclosure with other dogs, that dog's being picked on. When a dog starts staying in the corner, they're asking for help. from the dogs next to them. That can be very dangerous because those dogs are going, wait a minute, you're not one of us. So making sure that your animals, including pigs, who are very territorial, are not only cared for and fed and given the medical attention and everything, but they have a safe environment. And you know, I don't really like being in a situation where I'm with people that don't think like I think, or we don't interact well. I mean, we certainly do that all the time. But that's a temporary situation for us unless we're in jail, right? So we need to think about the needs, the psychological needs of these animals. And then the other thing is enrichment. In some situations, you can have all kinds of toys. In our cattery, we have all kinds of toys. And the cats sometimes argue over some toys, and one will have more. But you also have to think about dogs that ingest toys. In our situation, because it's an open door situation, our dogs have little buildings. They can sleep in them. They have resting decks that they can lie on. But they're in a yard. And when you've gone from 2 dogs to 10, the grass gets killed pretty quickly. So you want to consider what kind of toys you're giving them, or they're just ingesting the ground. The other thing is cleanliness. You know, so many people think when they come to our sanctuary, well, the first thing they say is, wow, this place is clean. I don't smell anything. Boy, that's a big slap on my back. You have to be clean. Why do we enjoy the health that we have? Because we have clean water, we have a clean environment, and those animals have to have that safeguarded. When it comes to volunteers, we like for them to do the brushing and the grooming and the socializing and getting those animals used to people other than us. So when we transport them in our transport program to other places in the country where they can get homes, they're not looking at us like, oh my God, you're leaving us. And then they have problems. We did have to bring 1 dog back. Well, actually 2 now. Oh, okay. As you can tell, this is a really long subject, and I just got the end. I would say the most important thing in summary, please look at why you're doing this. That's the most important thing. Don't just fill your needs. Fill the needs of the animals and your fellow friends who need your help. And remember, you will exhaust finances so rapidly. If you do not have a very sound financial base for your sanctuary, you're only doing harm to your animals.